One Piece 1077 was released recently, and it was certainly an incredible chapter written by Oda, focusing entirely on the events of Egghead Island. While a glimpse of the war between Kid and Shanks would have been incredible to see, the events on Egghead are not any less interesting either. This week's chapter of One Piece focused quite a lot on the Seraphims and their abilities. At the same time, light was thrown at the plot surrounding the trailer on Egghead Island. While most of the events were pretty straightforward, there are some things that only the most eagle-eyed fans caught in this week's chapter. These details might prove to be minor at first glance, however, later, they lead to bigger revelations, as is the signature of One Piece. Luffy's next form. One of the most interesting details in One Piece 1077 that a lot of fans might have overlooked is the fact that Luffy is no longer in Gear 4th. In the previous chapter, Luffy entered this form to fight against the threat of S-Bear. Now that Luffy knows the weakness of the Seraphims, he has left Gear 4th. This implies that his next form could be something like Snake Man, which capitalizes on speed and sees him make full use of attacks that come from almost nowhere. Snake Man seems to be the most suited form for this kind of battle. He could also simply go into Gear 5th because it is the strongest and, most likely, also the fastest form that Luffy has up his sleeve. However, whether he wants to burn that much energy or not remains to be seen. Zeus uses the attack that put Ulti down. Nami fought against S-Shark by fighting and betraying her very own ideals in this week's chapter. Thankfully, she also had Zeus, her companion, to deal with the monstrous threat of the Seraphim of Jinbei. Zeus went on to launch a thunderbolt on S-Shark, however, it did not work at all. Curiously, this is also the same technique that he used on Ulti in the Wano Country arc. Ulti was damaged by this to a point where she could not recover. However, it must also be noted that she was already reeling from Yamato's Thunderbagua and Big Mom's Miser Cannon. S-Shark turning flames off. Another curious detail that a lot of fans might have missed in One Piece 1077 is the way that S-Shark attacks. Just like King, he turns his flames off while attacking. However, in his case, he also dives underground with his flames off. This allows him to swim faster, and since he is underground, he cannot be attacked. This gives him extra cover when his flames are off, as he is the most vulnerable at that time. Sanji's observation hockey mastery. Sanji's mastery of the color of observation was on full display in this week's chapter as well. Previously, it was revealed that Sanji was with Stussy and Jinbei as a part of an entirely different group. However, when Nami shrieked, Sanji left everything that he was doing behind and went on to rescue her. Sanji can tell the emotions of women especially well. He is attuned to them more than anything else and, as such, can even hear a woman's teardrop from miles away. This week, he did something similar when Nami cried for help. Sanji uses Ivankov's techniques. Sanji, upon noticing that Nami was in danger, immediately rushed to her rescue. This, once again, goes on to show that he is among the fastest members of the crew, arguably the fastest. He was able to get to her before S-Shark's punch landed on Nami. Curiously, Sanji used a new technique in this week's chapter, named Raw Heat Strike. The fans have, however, seen someone else use a similar technique, and that is none other than Emporio Ivankov of the Revolutionary Army. During the Marineford arc, Ivankov launched a similar attack on a pacifista. Sanji's eyebrows. Sanji saw the awakening of his latent body modifications during the Wano arc. In his fight against Queen, he gained the power of an exoskeleton, an extremely high recovery rate, and more muscles, leading to more strength and speed, along with a boost in all his other physical stats. When these changes happen in his body, his eyebrows flip directions. After kicking Jinbei, Sanji was so angry at the fact that he was about to harm Nami that his eyebrows flipped directions. This is also very interesting as it signifies that his power-up is directly linked to his emotions, which goes on to show that Sora's sacrifice never went to waste. S-Snake turning flames off. S-Snake fought against Usopp, Frankie, and Lilith in One Piece 1077. Despite them being a monstrous group, she was able to deal with them rather quickly. When Lilith fired a barrage of powerful bubbles powered up with seastone properties, S-Snake showed her swiftness to glide through them. She did this by turning the flames on her back off, which, once again, goes to show how incredible the Lunarian abilities are. The next target of S-Snake. S-Snake went on to turn every single member of the group she was fighting into stone, possibly bar Pythagoras. This means that she is now free to go wherever she wants, and curiously, she happens to be on the 3rd floor in Building C. Building C directly connects to Building A, which is where Sanji is fighting S-Shark. Given that Sanji has activated his powers, it won't be a surprise to see him completely overwhelm and even damage S-Shark. However, if he encounters S-Snake right after, given his vow to never hit a lady, Sanji won't be able to put up any fight and will be turned into stone within a matter of seconds. The traitor on Egghead. The traitor on Egghead Island was once again hinted at in One Piece 1077. However, things have now gotten more confusing than ever before. Fans know for a fact that the traitor is someone with authority either equal to Vegapunk or higher, which is only the Gorosei. Since the Gorosei are not on Egghead Island yet, the traitor can only be a Vegapunk body. York has already been turned into stone, as has Lilith. Edison was beaten to half-death by S-Shark. Shaka was shot through the head in this week's chapter, and that leaves behind just 2 other satellites, Atlas and Pythagoras. Atlas is currently with Nico, Robin and Chopper, and it is unlikely for her to be able to do all of this while keeping them company. Meanwhile, Pythagoras was seen next to Lilith and Usopp in this chapter. However, curiously, S-Snake did not turn Pythagoras into stone. It could very well be that Pythagoras is the traitor. However, he could certainly not be the one who shot Shaka through the head, opening up the room for another Vegapunk body. One Piece. How Sanji's eyebrows power-up works. Sanji is the cook of the Straw Hat Pirates and one of the most important characters in One Piece. Introduced in the Baratie arc, Sanji only goes on to become a vital part of the group. Not only does he serve the role of a cook, but he is also extremely intelligent and takes control of the situation in dire situations often. At the same time, Sanji is also extremely powerful and, along with Zoro and Luffy, forms the monster trio of the Straw Hat Pirates. He currently has a bounty of 1.032 billion berries, which just goes to show how skilled he truly is in combat and how big a threat he is to the world government. In Wano, Sanji awakened his latent abilities and his eyebrows play a key role in their functioning. Sanji's latent abilities. Sanji was born as a part of the quadruplets that Vinsmoke Sora carried. His father, Judge, was a world-famous scientist and had also worked with Vegapunk in the past. Together, the two found the blueprint to life itself, the lineage factor. In the One Piece world, the lineage factor works extremely similar to how DNA works in the real world. With someone's lineage factor, essentially anything is possible. As such, Judge, who had his ambitions to secure control over the North Blue once again like the days of the old, wanted to make his children war machines. When Sora was pregnant, he altered their lineage factor so that they would be born as superhumans capable of waging wars all by themselves. This process would also strip them of their emotions, and Sora vehemently argued against it. Eventually, she took a powerful medication with the power to reverse the changes of the lineage factor manipulation. Unfortunately, this process did not work on 3 of the 4 children. Curiously, Sanji was a success and the lineage factor manipulation did not affect him at all. He was born a regular human, yet, for this exact reason, he was abused by his family. The awakening of his Germa powers. Despite not having any scientific abilities, Sanji went on to become stronger under the tutelage of Red Leg Zeph. He mastered his own fighting style, called the Black Leg style, over the course of time, also managed to learn the powers of observation and armament hockey. Sanji has, since then, gone on to become incredibly powerful. However, it was in the Wano arc that his body started reacting weirdly. After having put on the raid suit 3 times, his body underwent a weird reaction and brought out the latent abilities from the lineage factor manipulation that was done on him before being born. In the fight against Queen, Sanji awoke to the powers that make him a warrior of science, and he gained an exoskeleton, an incredibly fast regeneration rate, more muscle mass, and a boost to nearly every single attribute that he possessed. These changes to his body are signified by his eyebrows swirling towards their ends, just like his siblings. When his powers are activated, his eyebrows form a 66, just like his siblings, showcasing the fact that he is tapping into the powers of the Germa science. With these powers, he was able to dismember a member of the Beast Pirates with a bounty of 1.320 billion berries with rather ease. Sanji was incredibly afraid of the fact that he would end up losing his emotions when his powers awoke as well, evident from the fact that he called Zoro and asked to be killed if he isn't himself. However, it appears that his emotions might actually be his strength. How Sanji taps into his powers. In the Egghead Island arc, Sanji went on to fight against Seraphim Jinbei on more than one occasion. When Seraphim Jinbei tried to attack Robin, Sanji delivered a powerful Diable Hambi to him, because he was utterly enraged. Shortly afterwards, when S-Shark tried to kill Nami, it was Sanji who came to her rescue and managed to knock him back effortlessly. Seeing that a woman was in danger, Sanji was enraged at the fact that S-Shark had crossed his limits so many times. Curiously, Sanji's eyebrows flipped directions, which signifies that his scientific powers had kicked in. With this power having now awakened twice, the trigger for it is very easy for fans to spot. Sanji undergoes this transformation when he feels a sudden burst of emotion. In Wano, the war that the Straw Hat Pirates were fighting was one where emotions ran high. Sanji did what he could to make Luffy the victor of the war. Now, on Egghead, Sanji was enraged at the fact that Nami was in danger. This rush of emotions is what triggers his transformation into the warrior of science. This is fitting to Sanji's character, as Sora fought to preserve his emotions and make sure that he's the kindest person in the entire world. Now, Sanji has a power that is directly linked to his emotions and blooms when he showcases the single most important ability to be a human, that is, his emotions. That's a wrap for this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more amazing videos very soon.